There's a phenomenon that happens with people who've been traumatized where other people's opinions about us and other people's thoughts and judgments about us take on more importance than they would if we hadn't been traumatized. One of the markers of healing from trauma is when we're not so affected anymore. It's not like we're unaffected. Of course, none of us like to be the target of gossip or slander or whatever it is. And sometimes gossip can be kind of benign, and other times it can be very harmful. And then there's even if it's not gossip, even if it's, that look that somebody gives us or that interaction we have where we end up kind of feeling judged. So let's take a moment to tune into that and to notice what happens in our body, in our system, when we hear gossip, when we are feeling that urge to share some news it's not really ours to share, when we feel hurt by what somebody else has been saying. There's a lot of elements, a lot of ways that this whole scenario could play out around gossip and what other people say about us and to us. So as always, most of us will have had a response to that, even just a minute or two of words about that. Ideas, memories, words come up, maybe some kind of uncomfortable feeling in the body. It's quite a clear feedback system. We hear some words that we weren't expecting because who knew we were going to talk about gossip? And then in come all of the associated memories about that, or maybe just a few of them. So for some people, the topic of gossip would be highly, highly charged. And for other people, not as much. But it's probably not likely that anybody is completely neutral around it. And if we go back to understanding our survival systems, then gossip is one of the ways that we feel excluded from the group. And that becomes quite a threat. And if you were flashing back to times when you were younger, then it probably felt like more of a threat, partly because we don't have the resources or the experience or the ability to put it into perspective when we're younger. But it's still very painful as an adult when we're gossiped about. When people say things about us or think things about us, when they talk about us behind our back. And maybe what came up too was the times that we've done that, where we've heard something kind of juicy. And there's a real social currency in information. And sometimes we might have gotten into a bit of a judgment fest with somebody. Wow, this is what I heard. So we might be feeling a little bit disappointed in ourselves as well. Let's take a moment to sit with whatever it is that's here. Really notice the thoughts and notice the energy or the response in your body. And then as you're noticing your body, let's take a few minutes to step back away from the topic and totally tune into the body and the breath and the thoughts. More of that observer. What's going on in our system right now? Take a couple of deeper breaths. You can move your shoulders around, move your body around. Notice where in your body that you might feel tight, where you could use a bit more softness or ease. Notice all the places where your body connects with the floor, the chair, whatever it is that you're situated on. And as you're noticing that, see if you could let your body relax into that support. Notice if the environment that you're in right now in this moment is stable and secure. If you could relax your vigilance for a little while, let yourself relax. And then we'll move down through the body for a moment, just noticing muscles and sensation, energy. Notice your forehead and eyebrows, and let that area of your face soften and come to a stillness. Particularly as we breathe out, it's a natural time for the muscles to soften and relax. Let your eyebrows settle, the muscles of the forehead soften. Notice the flow of air as it goes through the nostrils. Notice your eyes, the corners of your eyes, the deep muscles of your eyes. Your lips and your mouth, your tongue, your jaw, your teeth. Notice if you could soften through the hinges of your jaw. If you're clenching your teeth, let that soften. Notice your mouth and tongue, your vocal cords, your center of speech. And the sides and back of your neck, your shoulders, the large muscles of the upper back. Notice your arms and your hands, fingers and fingertips. And partly we go through the body like this in order to relax muscles, and partly we do it just to come to a sense of what's going on in the body right now. Notice the front of your face. The face is how we communicate, partly. We partly communicate through body language and words, that kind of thing too. But our faces are very expressive. So notice as you relax your forehead and relax your face, what that feels like. Down through the throat and into the collarbones, into the chest, stomach, all those muscles that cover the front of the body. Of course, our breath is very much affected by what's going on in our mind, in our body. If we take a few deeper breaths and let the exhalation continue a bit, that generally helps to soften our body. Notice if there's enough room in your body to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in and then a longer, more leisurely exhale. Do that a few times and then let the breath come back to normal. And bring your attention down through your legs as well, your legs and feet. Our body has such an amazing setup in terms of protecting ourselves. We started looking at gossip. And one of the things that might happen is that our legs might get some energy in them. We might want to move away from this. Our arms and hands, sometimes we put up our hands to protect ourselves. So notice as you just consider that one word, notice your response. Gossip. The sound of it, the look of it, if you put it up in your mind's eye. And we'll take a few minutes, several minutes, to just look at what comes up. We would all have a response of some kind to that word. We might kind of have that urge or tune into that feeling of when we know something and we're tempted to share it, or maybe we do share it. Maybe we were one of the mean girls, or maybe we were a target of the mean girls. Maybe that was a really intense experience for you in your life, or maybe it was something that was a little less intense. So work with this in a way that makes sense to you. Let whatever comes up come up, and then we'll just work with the words, the images, the sensations, and energy the way we always do. So the sound of the word or the sound of other sentences that might be coming to mind, or the images we could tap. And if you're doing that, just bring your attention away from the words and into that sound and sensation of the tapping on your forehead. And when that's mostly what you're paying attention to, you can bring your hand down and look at that image again or listen to those words. We're noticing what comes up for us when we consider that whole topic. Look at that word, gossip. We could also trace. When we really see an image or a picture, we could put a frame around it. If you can, take that step back so you're looking at it as though you're in the picture. This can be a very intense experience for us to be the target of gossip in particular. So we need to remember that we're not actually back in that situation. We're looking at an image of it. And when you put it into a frame, notice that there's space around the outside of the frame. You could have your eyes open and put that picture up on a wall. Take your eyes around the outside space a few times one way and then a few times the other way. We're welcoming anything that's coming forward. And if it's words or images, tapping or tracing are very helpful. Sometimes we hear words as though they're in someone's voice. It's a memory. You can listen to that and then tap on it. And keep coming back to the stability of noticing your breath and your body. That we're not actually in a situation right now. We're looking, we're doing a mindfulness inquiry, and we're bringing up things that are perhaps painful, and we're looking at them to see. Sometimes a memory like this reflects something back about us. What does that mean about me? Do I believe it? Do I feel like I'm somehow whatever they were saying? And we always come back to, what does that feel like in the body? No matter what it is that's coming up as a memory, where is the energy of that in our body right now? And so, if words or pictures are having an intensity to them, and just keep working with that. And as they come up, go back to the words, go back to the pictures, tap, trace, and then come back to the energy in the body. Energy has a location, it has qualities, like sometimes it's hot or cold, it moves, it's still, it feels threatening. There's always space around sensation. No sensation goes on for the whole world. Doesn't go on forever. And sensations come and go. So notice the space around sensation as well. We're giving ourselves time, noticing what comes up. When new images or words come in, then we look at those. And then we go back to the feeling in the body. Sometimes when we are able to welcome a sensation, we can invite it to let us know, what is it that it's here for? What does it want us to know? Or does it want something from us? When we've been hurt or scared, we might not have been seen or attended to at the time. And maybe we could do that for ourselves now. Sometimes we can go right into the center of an energy, kind of see the world from the middle of that. What does it feel like? What are the emotions or sensations? What does it mean? And we could also pull back a little, perhaps, and take a perspective of really having a look to see, does this set of words or this judgment or this gossip about us, is that something that we need to accept? Is it true? Does it feel true? And have a look at that nuance of, it feels painful. And what are the beliefs that we have based on that experience? And is that reasonable looking at it now as an adult? And what might our younger self want to hear from us now? What might be helpful? And keep checking in with the body. Notice what's happening in your body. It's very common that parts of our body would get tightened up. See if you could let them relax and have a bit more ease in the body and the breath. And see if there is kindness and compassion here. Not in the sense of right or wrong, even. Just if there's suffering here, which there always is around gossip, could I have compassion for myself? Could I let go of any shaming thoughts or any leftover residue of that? We can acknowledge that even if something is happening in the moment, oftentimes the intensity comes from things that happened in the past. We could acknowledge with kindness that that's how it works, that of course we're affected by things, by people, by words and what they say. And to support ourselves in that. We're going to come out of the practice in a minute, not because it might be finished, but just because we're getting to the end of our time. So if you wanted to continue with this, that would be fine. We could always revisit these kinds of things. So notice as you're coming out of it, what's going on in your mind, your thoughts, your body, your breath. Let's take a moment to settle again. Just notice your breath. Let your body relax. Take a few deeper breaths. If you want, you could get up and shake it out. You could put your fists up and then throw it down. You could open your eyes, look around.